First of all, I could have easily named this podcast a show. Um, how do you know Marlena? Because everybody knows Marlena,
I
man.
know, yeah, I know. She knows everybody. she's connected with everybody. So
I mean,
yeah,
especially the theater scene, right? I mean, she's got her nose and everything over there. I mean, she just loves the world. She loves the people. She loves the art of it, the passion.
yeah, and she's always trying like to connect people. I mean,
Yeah,
she has worked in a couple of actual she used to work for the musicians
yeah.
union here in New York City, and then she worked at the actors union. I think she's working now at the actors union at Equity.
I
I
think. I
think
mean, I think so, or something. Who knows what's
yeah,
going on in COVID? Because I mean, we
yeah,
talked.
I
I
know.
had her on the show, and we talked about how COVID really hurt theater, man. You know, because
Yeah,
not only the audience, you
yeah.
need an audience, but you need a huge ensemble.
Yeah. I mean, we were one of the first things that were canceled with this lockdown, and we're gonna be one of the last ones like coming back. It's terrible. It's terrible what's going on. I mean, they just announced that Broadway is not opening till June next year. But being honest, I think it's gonna take longer than that. I think
What
it's gonna be till the fall or maybe the whole. We're not gonna have Broadway theater the whole year next year. Yeah,
I mean, I think with the whole with COVID and the pandemic, for a lot of us, this is our first pandemic. You know, in Asia, they've been doing SARS and they've been doing it for 20 years now, so they already know. They already wear masks like it's nothing, like it's jewelry. You know, but we got used to the fact that of like the government tells us, oh, in a few months we'll open, and then a few months comes, and then it's a few
yeah,
more months. So now when we hear June next year, we're like, no, 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 it's gonna be like 2022. You know?
yeah. I mean, yeah, talking about theater is hard because I mean you have these theaters that they hold like thousand people. I mean, when are you gonna get thousand people together in the same room?
Yeah.
That's I don't think that's
Unless they're
in a
Republicans,
close
you know,
future.
the
Yeah,
Republicans.
of course.
Unless it's a
Of
Trump rally,
course.
then they'll go. But
Yeah, but yeah,
why don't you introduce yourself to everybody? Tell everybody what you do, and we'll get started. I'm really excited.
sure. I thought we were already started.
Yeah, for sure. But you know, it's a rolling start. But you know, this is the part where you say your name and everything, and then I'll put a nice
Sure.
little graphic and your Instagram handle or what I don't know what your social media is like, but you know, whatever.
Yeah. Bueno, mi nombre es Jaime Lozano. I'm born and raised in Monterrey, Mexico. I'm a musical theater composer, director, arranger, orchestrator, vocal coach. I mean, my main thing is telling stories through music. That's what I do for a living. I'm based now in New York City. I arrived here the first time in 2007 to do a master program at NYU, and the rest is history. I mean, I'm just
Well,
trying to make a living here.
you're saying the rest is history, but is it true you're the first Mexican to be admitted and to earn an MFA from the Graduate Musical Theater Writing Program
Yeah,
at NYU?
to my surprise, yes, I was the first Mexican. Actually, grant I got a grant. I mean, the only reason because I came to New York City was because I got a full tuition scholarship.
Right.
I mean, education here in the United States is crazy expensive. So I come from a very like modest, poor family in Mexico, and we didn't have I mean, the way to pay for something like this. So thanks to this scholarship from NYU that I came to the States. And yeah, I was the first Mexican. Maybe I think I was like the third or fourth Latino in the program. Um, it's my knowledge that till today, I mean, I graduated in 2009, and I'm still the only Mexican in that program.
Well,
There
there's
have
I
been
mean,
other Latinos like Venezuelans, Cubans,
right.
but not yeah.
But that's crazy that you're the only Mexican because, you know, Mexicans make up the largest group of Latinos in the United States. I mean, I think there's something like 60 million Latinos in the United States, and no joke, 50 million of them are Mexican. So like that you're the only one shows that we really need to do a better job of like pushing arts on Latinos generally. But there's that whole thing of like, especially as a man, and we can talk about this. Especially as a man, a young boy, you know, you grow up thinking people telling you you gotta do practical work, you know, become a carpenter, become a plumber, become whatever, you know, mechanic. And then if you tell people, I don't know how your parents were, people around you, if you tell people you're into art, they're like, ¿Qué es eso? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, you're completely right. I mean, we grow up, and then our families, what they want for us is to have a job that is gonna give us a living. I mean, that like being a lawyer, being a doctor, and I'm the only one in my family that is actually doing something with the arts. I mean, no one in my family has any kind of relationship with the arts. I'm the only one and the first one. Hopefully, I mean, I have now a daughter, a 15 years old daughter, and a 4 years old son. My son was born here in the States. I don't know what they're gonna want to do with their lives, but I like to say that they are like my legacy. I mean, my legacy is not actually my art or my songs or my stories. My legacy, my real legacy, are my son and my daughter. And hopefully, if they want to do something related with art, that would be great. But whatever they want to do, they decided to do. I hope that is something that makes them feel proud and happy and you know, like plenty, you know, like full.
Fulfill them, satisfy them. Be, you know,
yeah, exactly.
Because I know people, you know, I'm the only person in my family really that's into the arts. But my brother is actually a really good actor, but he went to the Marines and then life got him, you know.
Yeah.
But he's a great actor. He was a great actor. He did Shakespearean theater in college and stuff like that. But what I was going to say is, you know, you're on here. I mean, Marlena told me about Immigrant songs
By an Immigrant.
By an Immigrant.
Yes.
I've heard it. I heard it. I was listening to it on Wednesday walking my dog. I just heard it right now again. We'll get to it more. But I just want to say it's awesome. You know, when she told me about it, I was like, hey, what is this about? You know, Broadway songs about immigrants. Okay, what is this? It's so surprising, you know, subversive, edgy even, you know, like they're singing Broadway. So it's like very cheerful, but the lyrics, and different people write the lyrics. You're the composer and arranger on it, correct?
Yes.
And just from the first song, that you know, the Immigrant song, what is it called?
The generic immigrant welcome song.
Welcome song, yeah. I mean, it's he's happy, but he's saying like, you know, I'm here to stay. The song about changing my name. The song I really liked was Far From Home. I like the change up at the end. The change up at the end, right? Where she goes, yeah, and she starts going, wah! Man, that's that hook, that part is just playing in loop in my head.
It says, ya no sé quién soy, ya no sé si soy de aquí o soy de allá.
Right.
Yeah, that part, right?
And it changes up, and I'm like, man, this could be like a top 5 hit on the radio right now, you know, because especially the way she sings it, you know, in the song, and the song that comes after that too is really good. But yeah, so you are an immigrant, and I didn't know that until I was looking into you. I thought maybe there's some Latinos who write about immigrants. I'm a Latino. I'm not an immigrant. My mom's from Honduras, but
So you were born here in the States.
I was born in Chicago, yeah. Okay. So going back to your childhood, I mean, that's very interesting to me. I mean, how you said you come from a humble background. Sometimes when people are artists, immigrant artists, especially from Latin America, they come from a family of artists, right? I saw that you know the jazz pianist Carolina Calvache from Colombia.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I love her. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's amazing. And her family, you know, her dad is a professor, poet, right? Her mom is a singer. So none of that in your family at all. And in Monterrey, like, what makes a kid from Monterrey want to start doing theater, musical theater?
You know, I have no idea. It's like
that's awesome.
Yeah, one day I just decided to do it. My story is that when I was 18 years old, I actually was about to get into the criminology school. I did the test. I was about to start the school, and I decided like that I didn't want to do that. And I wait 1 year, and the next year I enrolled in music school. Before that,
okay, so the criminology was what? That's the pressures from your family, right? Pick something practical. Pick something that's going to a career.
Kind of, because when I was doing high school, and usually when I do it, when I have like an assignment and I had to do this like research, homework. I mean, I always do like something related with criminology, drugs, laws. Like I was like kind of interested in that. Yeah, I kind of like. Actually, I love Law and Order, the show, and those kind of shows in some way. Yeah, I was attracted to that. Before enrolling to music school, my only contact with music was in a church. I was part of the choir, a church choir. And
but that's huge, right? That has led a lot of people into music, right? I mean,
yeah.
Ray Charles, Whitney Houston, a lot of people started in the church. John Legend started in the church,
right? Exactly. Yeah, when I was like 16, 17, I got into this choir. I started learning to play guitar. I started singing, and I realized that I liked that, and that the instrument was something that was easy for me. I was learning fast,
right?
But just in a very, very rough way. I mean, it wasn't anything formal,
right?
And I was just going into the choir, and I get like music directing, but in a very basic form, just just in the church. And I think that was the thing that made me realize, like, that I wanted to do music. That I was like not. I don't know if the good is the right word, but that I can do that. That I feel like I can do something.
You can learn it, and you have a passion for it. And if you think about it, I mean, especially if you go to a good church, right, where the people are really into the song and stuff, everybody, like the whole church is like rocking, right? And it becomes almost not like church at all. It's like a concert, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean, this kind of church that I was, it was a Catholic church. I mean,
but what kind of Catholic church? Because I was raised Catholic too, and there's a not
as formal as that.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it was a little bit more open. Yeah, it was, and I mean, the choir, we were all like young people, like between our 15 and 25 years old, and I was just learning. I mean, what I love about music and about art is the way that you can connect with other people. It's like a mutual language. I mean, when you are in a choir or when you are in something music related, you're speaking a new language. You're not speaking like Spanish or English. I mean, you're speaking through the songs and through the music. And it doesn't matter how good you are, but you start to relate with each other through those songs.
Yeah.
I mean, we have people in the choir that they weren't able to sing a single note, that they were out of pitch the whole time. But it doesn't matter, because the goal and the purpose of the music in that group is other. I mean, it's not about doing like great music, but it's about communicating. I mean, and if you believe in something, you believe in God. I mean, it's about communicating with God or wherever you believe, right? But I mean, that's the thing about music and about art, that it goes beyond that, you know. And I think that was what attracted me to music, that is not about I mean, music is not just something concrete and close. Music is something even bigger, that the thing that we can listen or see. It goes beyond that. It's something that connects hearts, connects minds, connects people in the same room, but also all around the world.
I mean, I told Carolina that it's trite and everybody knows it, but music is the most powerful art form. It's the most powerful form of communication, right? When we sent a satellite Voyager out into space looking for aliens, it's still out there, right? It's outside the solar system. And what did we put on there? We put on music. we put on blues and jazz because we think, if aliens find it, they're not going to know English or Spanish or anything, but they'll know music because there's something mathematical in it too. I tried, I don't, Carolina was telling me that she likes Brahms and all that stuff, and I was like, well, he was a mathematical genius. Like, isn't there math in it? And there's math in it, right? There's a logic to music that's why everybody understands it, even if they don't know what the lyrics mean.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of science. I mean, music is a science. It's not only an art. It's science. I mean, the way that someone create all these notes and create all these sounds based on frequencies and the way, and we have to create like these like major scales, minor scales, and combining those sounds to create intervals or chords, and then creating sequence of chords, and then every instrument has a different I don't know what is the word in English, timbre,
timbre,
because the different harmonics that every instrument is able to give based on the construction and then the materials of the instrument. So it's like a lot of like science related when you do music. But at the end, you don't need to be a scientist. You don't need to be actually an arts person to feel what is music, to feel the music. I mean, that's why it's so powerful.
You were saying that some people like they can't sing a note or tone, and you've been around the music world for a long time, and I saw you're a voice coach. So like, are there people who just can't hear tone? Are there people who just can't get rhythm? Like, no matter how much you teach them about it, and what is that?
No, I actually think that everyone can be able to sing in some way. Music is in some way. It's like learning a language.
Maybe hum.
Yeah, but what I think is the people that is not able to actually sing on pitch is maybe because they didn't learn how to listen music before. I mean, we are used to listen music just because. I mean, just like a robot. We never listen music like in a conscious way.
Especially now with the music now, right? It's very simple. Carolina talked about that. How it's very simple. It's like there's nothing sophisticated about it at all. It's not even. It's boring to the mind,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you need music that challenge your mind. You need music that activates you in some way. So what we are used to do. I mean, even I remember when I was a kid, you listen a song and you just start like blabbing over the song, and you start doing this. So when you do that, you are just programming your mind with those grown sounds that you're doing, and you're not actually listening to the music in a conscious way. Like, okay, this is the song. Let me just listen to it. Let me learn it. Let me, you're just like singing over the music all the time, just. When you're in a dance party, when you're in the car driving, you're just like singing out loud.
Yeah.
But just not in a right way. I mean, you're just doing it.
Or there's a song that you hear a song, a song that you've known your whole life, and you're singing it in front of everybody, and they're like, "That's not the lyrics," and you're like, "Those are the lyrics I've been singing my whole life because I'm not listening to the lyrics."
Exactly, and you just learn. I mean, what that is what's happened with a lot of people. We just learn the music language in the wrong way. So when we want to speak it right, we're not able to do it because we're just learning wrong. So we need to reset ourselves. But I think that anyone can be able to express themselves musically in some way.
So you go from criminology, and this is how the show goes, right? Because I'm trying to figure out you, right? And there's no line to figuring out somebody. You got to just talk to them, right? So criminology, and then if you're like me, I went into accounting, and then I started working as an accountant in business, and I panicked. I tell the story. There was this room, and everybody's sitting at their desk, and I was like, ugh, I don't want that to be my life forever. No, and so I panicked, and I switched to history. I wanted to be a writer. But so when you decide to do music, what does your family say? I mean, what?
Thanks God, they were always very supporting.
Awesome.
They actually, my brother is an accountant.
Sorry.
Yeah, small
I mean,
world.
I have
Yeah, yeah,
accountants
yeah.
in the family, but I was really
And
good at it, but I just didn't. I was like, ooh, if you want to do art,
yeah,
accounting's very different.
look, my brother's an accountant, and he is married. I mean, his wife is also an accountant, and they met at school. That's the kind of life you have. Back in my hometown. I mean, it's not like we have a lot of artists or people.
What is
This is
Monterrey
my
like? I mean,
family.
in American culture, Monterrey is like, there's that Frank Sinatra song, "It Happened in Monterrey."
But that's Monterrey with one R. That's
Mm.
Monterrey, California. I think.
No,
Yeah.
no, no, no. He says down
No.
in Old Mexico. He says down in
Oh,
Old Mexico.
really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Monterrey has like
Ah.
this like whole thing of like, and my wife was born in Juarez, and so is Monterey has like this glamorous thing in American culture, but I mean, how is it now with the violence and where
Yeah,
were you at in your childhood? What was it like then?
Monterrey is the third biggest city in Mexico. I mean, the biggest one is Mexico City, and I think Guadalajara and Monterrey are like right there in the second place. It's a very, I mean, there's a lot of industry. There's a lot of like one of the biggest beer companies are in
It
Monterrey.
sounds like the Chicago of Mexico, because Chicago's the third largest
Yeah,
industrial beer.
but and you know what is the one of the funniest, or not funniest, but one of the things about I grew up in Monterrey, and there's not a lot of diversity there. I mean, we are all. I mean, of course, I'm coming from. I was like a medium low class. There's a lot of rich people. I mean, there's a city called San Pedro, that is where the the richest people in Mexico live there. It's great. I mean, there's a lot of money. Just it's a small area with a lot of concentration of money and rich people.
Right.
And it's let's say that it's just outside Monterrey, just like a few.
Like a
Yeah,
suburb, a colonia,
yeah.
right?
It's part of it's like saying Manhattan and Queens.
Yeah.
It's part of the same, right?
Yeah.
Um, and but there's not a lot of diversity. There's not a lot of diversity. I mean, we all speak the same. We all look the same in some way. So it was a huge change when I got to New York.
How old were you?
I was old enough. I was 20, 27, 28.
Okay, so yeah, you were like more
Yeah,
fully
yeah.
formed, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then I realized, I mean, I didn't have, I have no idea what diversity was like.
Wow.
I mean, even being myself an immigrant, being myself a Latino, I never experienced being a minority or being different back in Monterrey.
Mm.
So suddenly I'm in this new city, in this new country, and I'm now a minority. I'm now actually, when I got to New York, I didn't speak English. I mean, I'm still I still don't do it great, but at that time I didn't speak English at all.
Wow.
And
You speak English better than I speak Spanish. Let's put it that way.
I mean, but now I have been here. I mean, the first time I arrived here was 2007. So I have been learning, and at the same time I have been learning the language. I mean, English language. I have been learning how to be a minority. I have been learning about other cultures, other countries. I have no idea what was to be side by side with an African American brother or sister. I mean, we don't have that in Monterrey, in Mexico at all. Actually, it's not like we have like Asian people or African Americans. Now there's a little bit more.
I was gonna say like Veracruz, right? There's some black people in Veracruz and some
Yeah,
chinitos, right?
yeah, that they call like that. That actually now we can say that because now it's offensive to some
Oh
people.
yeah, really?
Yeah,
But they're Chinese, right? They're
Chinese.
descended from Chinese immigrants that came like 100 years ago, right?
Yeah, but you can't like assume that someone is Chinese and
Oh,
say
right. Oh, no,
Chinito
of course.
because maybe
Right.
they are.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it's the same with and it's the same with the other word. I mean, with the word negro that
Yeah.
you can say. I mean, it's some in our countries. It's very common to say that word
Yeah.
and say negro or negrito,
Negrito.
like a,
I grew up with negrito.
right? And there's something that I have learned now that is not okay. I mean, because everything that's going on, I mean, I'm learning every single day how to be a better ally for other brothers and sisters, and at the same time, I'm also part of some kind of minority.
Yeah,
You
and I was gonna
know?
say you're not only a minority. You're. I mean, there's more Mexican immigrants now in New York, right? Another past guest and friend, Melissa Castillo Planas, who wrote "Mexican State of Mind," which is about the Mexican immigrant community in New York in music. It's really good.
Wow.
So there's more Mexicans in New York, right? More Mexican immigrants, but I mean, you go there and you're as a Mexican, you're even you're a minority, right? But among the Latinos, because it's Dominicans, it's Puerto
Uh-huh.
Ricans, right?
But also the way that I look, I'm not a minority.
Mm.
I mean, if someone see me on the street, they don't think that I'm Mexican.
Yeah, no, like I
I
told
look
you,
like,
right? I thought you were because especially in your press photos, right? You look, if you could say, you look American, right? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. It's not to the moment that I start speaking that I feel some like racism through me, because if they look at me, I mean, I look like you just say like any American or maybe from Spain, from Argentina. I mean, I look
Yeah.
like other kind of Latino. And when I start speaking or when I say that I'm Mexican, oh really? That's where that racism start right there. When someone say, oh really, you don't look like a Mexican.
Yeah.
Oh, so how is a Mexican supposed to look,
Right.
or
Right.
supposed to sound, or supposed to be?
Right. I
And
mean,
I'm
so
the same. Yeah, I'm learning that with other brothers and sisters. That I used to be like that. Oh, really? You don't look like that. You don't. And it's
we'll
not.
talk
We
about that. I mean,
just.
because you're all over Broadway, right? You've worked on. I mean, your credits. Your credits are ridiculous, right? I mean, you're always working, prolific. You've worked on Hamilton, right? You've worked on In the Heights in
I have
various
collaborated. Yeah,
capacities,
I
right?
have collaborated with some of the.
Because
Yeah.
you're a composer, arranger, orchestrator. I mean, what's a explain what those are for people like me and everybody listening, watching. I mean, we know what a composer is, right? Composer is someone who
Who
writes
writes the
the music.
music? Yes.
Arranger is
Someone who arranged the music. I mean, the composer create a song, the music of the song, and the arranger play with that music in some way, like maybe adding an introduction, or maybe adding a musical bridge, or
and then
maybe adding,
orchestrator.
and the orchestrator, based on that structure, the orchestrator add the different color from the orchestra or from the band.
The different
Okay,
timbers of
so
the different instruments.
yeah. So the guitar is gonna do this, and the trumpet is gonna do this, and the saxophone or the drums or whatever. Yeah. So those are the colors. Sometimes the composer and arranger and orchestrator could be the same person in a show,
I
but
was gonna say, I
usually
mean, and you're a director. I mean, have you ever directed, arranged, composed, and orchestrated?
but usually I don't wear all those hats at the same time. Usually when you're a composer, when I have a show and I'm the composer, I have another who is orchestrating, or when I'm orchestrating, I have a co-orchestrator with me.
Is that
Someone who's
like
helping me.
you and Mauricio are from Monterrey, right? But that he went to New York, your friend, and you stayed in
Yes.
Monterrey, right? I mean, you collaborated a lot on songs by an immigrant, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's an amazing singer performer from Monterrey as well, and our paths cross like many times now. And he's in a couple of songs from this album, and we have collaborated in many projects. I am his music director, for example. In his shows, what I do is music direct. He has a concert that what I do is to rehearse the band, to do the arrangement. I do the arrangement and orchestrations for his shows. sometimes he sing one of my songs, so I'm the composer of that song. But mainly I'm his music director, just directing the band, and okay, you do this here, okay, and just conducting, That's another thing, a conductor. Sometimes a conductor is the one who move the hands and just
Everybody's
give the
practiced being a
cues.
conductor in the shower,
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, there's many like different hats.
Right. What I was going to ask you is, so like, like you said, people say, you're Mexican, and especially with Trump. But for a long time now in America, Mexican is, has a bad connotation with some people, right? Talk about how the response you've gotten, or the obstacles or shit you faced, being this Mexican from Monterrey taking Broadway fucking by storm, Because Broadway's American, right?
Yeah,
Broadway's
yeah. To be honest, I have been very lucky about it. I mean, there have been other Latinos before myself, like Lin-Manuel Miranda, Alex Lacamore, like Chita Rivera, Rita Moreno.
I was gonna say Rita Moreno. I mean, that's back in the '60s, right? When she was, in West Side Story, the Broadway show, and then in the movie, like that's hard to do now for a Latina, right?
Yeah, but thanks to all that people, I mean, I like to say that usually at that time they was trying to sneak through a window. They was trying to sneak in some way into the business, and now they help to open some doors. I mean, now the door is a little bit open, so we can easily, not really,
easily, but for us, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier than before. It's not, but we're not there yet. I mean, so what I hope is that I'm just one more people helping to open those doors, and there's gonna be a moment that those doors are gonna be just completely open. That we don't have any wall. That we now, of course, for example, this album, these songs by an immigrant. Now I feel this responsibility and this commitment to tell my own stories and to put a label. I have to do that because other people do that. I have to put a label in myself and say, I'm an immigrant, I'm a Mexican. But hopefully, in some years, I don't need to put that label. And we're going to be just human beings doing art.
Yeah, I've been fighting the Latino label, like people, oh, you're Latino. Oh, it's a Latino podcast. Oh, I have a website. Oh, it's a Latino website. And I'm like, no, I'm a human being. I like things. I like all kinds of things, right? I just happen to be Latino. And then people want, they're like, no, but you're Latino, right? You're Puerto Rican, right? Oh, you're Honduran, right? And you kind of have to just accept that label because that is what you are. It's not the only thing.
Yeah.
But, is that insecurity? We're afraid to be like confined, right, by a label. We're afraid that they're going to put us in this little box, and we're not going to be able to do everything that we express, everything that we are.
It has been a long process for many decades and many years. I mean, I'm sure that you know this. I mean, there's a generation around your age that their fathers, they were afraid to teach Spanish to their sons, but not because they hate their countries or because they don't like their language, because they didn't want that others make fun or others just, they wanted their sons to be successful. And they used to, that's the way. I mean, they just have to make decisions, and they decided, okay, in order my son can be successful in this country, he needs to be as American as he can. I mean, he needs to only speak English, only do this, only. So they decided not to teach Spanish to their sons and daughters.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of actors now, like around the 20s, 30s, 40s, that they don't speak Spanish. And they are as Latinos as myself, that I speak Spanish. I mean, they're not less Latinos because they don't speak the language or because they just speak a few words. But that was the decision that our ancestors, the people before us, needed to take,
Yeah.
because that's the way that they feel that they're going to protect us or protect your generation, right? I'm not part of that first, second generation. I'm now another kind of Latino, but now I have a son here. I mean, my son is with me. He's 4 years old. He was born here in New York City. I'm not. I'm struggling with the language, as you can hear. I mean, I really. I mean, my head is working faster than my tongue.
Yeah. That's how I am in Spanish, because I'm a writer. So like I'm really good with English. And Spanish is my first language, but I forgot it through the culture and through school and everything. And so I understand it. But when I go to speak it, my tongue knows English, and Spanish is hard. Spanish is hard.
Yeah. But what you are 100% American.
Yeah.
And you are 100% Latino.
Yeah.
It's not like you're half and half or 70 and 30 because you speak less Spanish. No.
And the interesting thing about the Latino actors is that you see now, like, they'll what's that actor? Man, I forgot his name. But anyways, there's Latino actors, right? And they're being cast now as maybe Mexicans or Mexican immigrants or immigrants in general, and they have to speak Spanish, and their Spanish you could tell is really bad. As Latino, like maybe white people, they hear them, they're like, oh, they can speak Spanish, but as a Latino, we know that he doesn't speak Spanish, and that's got to be frustrating, right? Because you grow up, the culture, the society makes you lose your Spanish, and now that you're an actor, they want you to, give us Spanish, and every Latino has I just wrote about this today. I talked about that Change Your Name song.
Ah, yes.
And it's just like that, right? I mean, change your name, or my wife's name is Rocio. And a lot of people didn't know how to say Rocio. Even to this day, they say Rocchio, Rocky. And so when she was a kid, she would say, oh, my name's Vanessa.
Yeah. Actually, when even now, when I need to get into a building that you need to show your ID or whatever, sometimes I just say, what's your name? Jamie. I just say that because if I say Jaime, they're not going, what did you say? No, I just say
Security.
Jamie because he, yeah, right. Okay, he's a guy with a Mexican name.
Yeah.
No, just because it's going to be easier for them to say the name or to not take the name or whatever, and it's faster for me to get into the building.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I'm even racist with myself.
Yeah. Well, it makes you be racist with yourself, right? It makes you be racist with yourself. And I was talking about that, like about how, I thought about changing my name, but I'm, look how I look. I can't change my skin color. So I might as well be Hector Luis Alamo, and that I am who I am. But yeah, I wrote it in today's piece that my wife's working from home. She's a businesswoman. And she's on the phone, right? And El Sonidito, you know that song?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So like a band.
My suegro's staying with us, and we're doing renovations, so we're working, listening to Mexican music, Spanish music.
Yeah.
And she's on the phone with somebody. I need that deal by doing her business voice. And she's like, shh, 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 shh. And I lower it, and when she gets off the phone, I go, "What? You don't want people to know you're Mexican?" She goes, "Of course not." I have to pretend, especially in business, you have to pretend that you're just as American as everybody else to get that access, to get those opportunities. And that's sad.
Yeah, I think we are a little bit better than before. I mean, things are, thanks to all the people before us. I mean, we were talking about this generation that they don't speak Spanish, and it's not their fault. It's not even their parents' fault. It's the society is making us take some roads that we shouldn't take.
Yeah.
But we have to do that just to survive.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the society wants everybody to be the melting pot, right? Everybody wants to be the same because they're afraid of difference. They're afraid of diversity. But us, we know, like, that makes America awesome, that everybody's different. There's no place like America because of that reason.
Yeah, with my son, for example, even my English is not the best. I try to speak to him in English and in Spanish. I mean, in both, because I want him to know. I don't want him to feel like Spanish is for home and English is for real life.
Yeah, because I have friends who, they're Latinos and they speak English and Spanish, perfectly, but they have kids now. and they only speak Spanish to their kids because they know, oh,
Yeah.
okay, the TV, the music, the school,
Everything
they're only
else
going
is
to
in
leave.
English. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I mean,
that's a good
that's
point.
what
And then
they.
they're going to think, oh, Spanish is for home. That's a good point.
I mean, at least that's my philosophy. I don't know if it's right or wrong or better or worse,
Right.
whatever. But at least that's what I'm trying to do, because I want him to feel like he can speak here inside our home and out there in any language. I mean, those are the same importance. I mean, it's not like a better language than the other one. You're going to speak the language that you need to speak in the moment, right?
Right.
I mean, actually, my language right now is Spanglish. Sometimes
Yeah.
I don't find a word in English, and I have to go to Espanol, or I don't find a word in Espanol. That's one of my problems. When I got here, that I didn't speak English at all, so I started learning English. This was my Spanish, and this was my English. So my English is getting here better, and I'm losing my Spanish because I'm not speaking the same way Spanish. So it's like no soy de aquí ni soy de allá.
Wow.
I don't speak English well, and I lose my Spanish, so I don't speak Spanish well enough as I used to do it.
And then you become
So
you're
like,
not enough of
yeah,
anything, right? You're not Mexican enough now. You're not
yeah.
American enough now. You're just in between, right?
And I used to make fun of that people when I was living in Mexico.
Gabachos.
The people that used to live in the United States, and then they come back to Mexico and they were speaking with English words. And now I do it all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I think Spanglish will probably become the official language of the United States in like 100 years. You know?
Yes.
But I was just thinking about this too. Like Mexico, I don't know the artistic history of Mexico, but they're having like a renaissance, right? With the best directors in the world are Mexican, right? And then you have actors, Gael Garcia, Diego Luna, then people like you. I mean, but also troubles, right? I mean, not only with the violence, but now COVID. I mean, the rumors are that the government's not giving out the real numbers, just like the government never gives out the real numbers of the disappeared, of the murdered, everything, femicide. But what explains that? I mean, am I wrong? Am I right about that? That there's this artistic renaissance in Mexico.
Yeah, but
Chefs.
why are you realizing about those artists? Because they're doing their work in the States, outside Mexico. Can you imagine if all those directors, Alfonso Cuarón, Iñárritu, Guillermo del Toro, all these actors, if they were doing those movies in Mexico,
wow,
we were like the biggest, I mean, bigger than Hollywood,
Right.
But they didn't find the support from the government and from the organizations to do those kind of films, and they have to go somewhere else. And that exactly the same happened. I mean,
and they started in Mexico, right? Who was it that directed Y Tu Mamá También, right? Which
that was Cuarón. Yeah. They started in Mexico. But there was a moment that they were, there's no way I can do more than this. I need to find a way to do somewhere else. It was the same with when I got my scholarship from NYU. I didn't know that they were able to give me a scholarship. When I went to my meeting with the administrative director at NYU, she told me, we don't have any scholarships. Are you sure that you can find the money to pay this? And I told her, yes, I'm gonna get some scholarship from Mexico. That's what I told her, because I'm not gonna tell her, oh no, I don't gonna have the money.
Yeah.
I didn't have the money, but I have to just to do my poker face.
A huevo.
I'm gonna find that money. Yeah, don't worry. I didn't get any money from any organization or any, like any kind of grant from Mexico. And at the end, by surprise, I got this scholarship from this American organization that is NYU. I mean, they want me to be here.
The Tisch School of Arts, man.
Yeah, and all the people in Mexico from all these different government associations, whatever, that I told them, I'm the first Mexican accepted, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna, like, voy a poner el nombre de Mexico en alto. It's something very important. They gave me like nothing, like just coins. Like, so if they didn't support me to come here, I really find found the support from NYU and not from any kind of organization back in Mexico. So it exactly the same happened with all these directors. They found all that support somewhere else, here in the States, in Spain, like Guillermo del Toro. Like his biggest movies, like Laberinto del Fauno, was produced in Spain and not in Mexico, and he had to change the script to fit the story in Spain instead of in Mexico that was originally supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they call it, I don't know what is the name in English, but they call that fuga de talento. When like a talent.
A fugue is like a talent drain.
Yeah, like we don't stay in Mexico and we're going somewhere else.
The same thing happens in Puerto Rico, right? The brain drain. The brain drain. All the best people in the country go to America because there's no room for them to do what they want to do. And that's depressing because like Mexico actually is a rich country in Latin America, right? It's like the second richest country in Latin America behind Brazil. So imagine all the artists, directors in Guatemala, Honduras, like all over, right? That we're never gonna hear their names or get to see what they can do.
Yeah,
that's depressing.
Yeah. I mean, but in the case of the musical theater industry, there's no musical theater in Mexico, for example.
Yeah,
there's nothing like Broadway anywhere. I mean, just in London, maybe Argentina a little bit, but the only way that I could do a living doing musical theater is being here in the States.
So how did you switch to? I mean, you're in the church, right? So you wanted to do music, and you go to the University Autónoma de Nuevo León, right?
Yes.
Yes, where you got your BFA, and so you want to do music. Did you want to do like popular? How did you switch to theater if there's no theater in Mexico?
Okay, when I just started music school, I actually originally was studying singing. It was music and opera. I wanted to be a singer. And
can you sing operatically?
I used to. I mean, not now, but I used to.
You have to be like really in shape. Like people look at Pavarotti, that he's this big fat guy, but he was really in shape, right? You got to be like an athlete to sing like that, right?
Yeah, it's hard. It's another kind of technique. It's a very specific technique that they developed because, I mean, back in the time, because they didn't have mics and all that, they needed to fool these big houses. I mean, like the Scala in Milan and in Italy. How are you going to fill those big houses just with your voice and sing over the orchestra? So they developed this kind of technique so you can project your voice in this way.
I heard that's why there's a grito in like ranchero banda music, because like it started in cantinas, right, where there's no mics, so everybody's like drinking and talking, and so the guy gets up to sing and he has to go just so that everybody knows he's gonna sing, right? Is that true? I mean, do you know the history of that?
Actually, to be honest, this is the first time that I heard the story, but I completely believe you. I'm with you. I bought it.
So everybody, they're eating and somebody starts screaming and everybody turns to see, he's gonna sing a song.
And if you listen to mariachi singers and banda singers, I mean, they sing loud. I mean, they really sing, and it's because of that. I mean, they develop some kind of technique that when they are in these like palenques or these kind of shows, they couldn't be listened. Like in the right volume.
I'm not trying to blow smoke up anybody's ass or be politically correct and say that I'm pro-woman or anything, but the female mariachi singers that I've seen personally, they just blow me away, especially like when they're really good. They and they're always short, but they have so much sound coming out of them,
That's something. I mean, in LA, there's a lot of female mariachis. There's a very famous female mariachi here in New York City called Flor de Toloache. They actually they won the Latin Grammy, and they are amazing. I mean, one of Mireya Ramos, who is the founder of that mariachi, she's singing in one of the tracks of my album.
She sings a song right after Far Away, right?
She sings Castle in the Sky is the name of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's amazing. Yeah, and she has this big, unique voice that I just love it. And I mean, that's now that you're talking about that, how that was something that I didn't know about in Mexico about being that we were a machista country. You know,
Really?
when you are inside, everything seems too normal,
Yeah.
and then you arrive to other countries and you have to learn how to be a better human being. Oh, that wasn't right.
It's like
And
you said, like you the first time you know mixing up with black people, then you're like, oh wait, there's no black people in Monterrey. Like, why is that?
yeah,
Oh yeah, that's weird.
yeah. Sorry that I'm gonna say this, but for example, when I was in Mexico driving, and you see like a car just driving like crazy, like or something just happened,
It's a
like
woman.
a car. Oh, of course, it's a woman. You know, and that just I used to say that, and
I still say that, and it's. I mean, I love women. I'm a feminist, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. They get distracted, but every time there's a crazy driver, I'll bet money that it's a woman. And I love women. My wife. Every time I go to my wife, like, I bet it's a woman. I bet it's a woman. And every time
and
she sees it's a woman, she gets so mad. She gets so
sometimes
mad.
sometimes it is, and sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it's an old man,
and,
you know.
and we are, yeah, or even a young guy. I mean, it's not like not
right.
a sex, not a color, not a
Right.
genre. Nothing is gonna make us better or worse or smarter,
Right.
or you know.
Yeah.
But from the culture that we came, we have all these big like issues, like things in our brain
For sure.
that we think that it's normal. That
Like
is not.
my wife makes a lot of money. She's a businesswoman. I'm an artist. I make very little money, you know? And so that's been a whole thing in our marriage, right? Like, you should be the one who's making all the money. She shouldn't work. Why is she a businesswoman? Why are you an artist? Art is for girls. You should be
Yeah.
in business. All this stuff that I had to fight. And I still have it to fight. In my own family, people who say that they love me and care about me and support me, they think that. They tell me that stuff.
Yeah. My wife is an artist, but she's a singer and an actress. She's amazing. We collaborate.
She sings on the album too,
She
right?
sings in the album as well. The track called "The Other Side," and we collaborate a lot together. Actually, it's very hard because we don't know where is the border being husband and wife or being like collaborators in doing art. It's like we're all the time talking about our projects and all that. But I understand your point because we are used to think that the man is the one who's supposed to earn more money or provide or whatever. At least in our family, there's sometimes I have been like with no work at all.
Yeah.
She has been the one paying the rent.
Yeah.
And then
and you feel ashamed of that because of what society has taught you your whole life, right? Like, you should feel ashamed, or like that she, you know, she's really the organizer of the family because that's what she's good at, right? And I'm the one who does. I did dishes, I clean, I cook food, and that takes, for some fucked up reason, you have to get used to that for some reason. That's weird, right? Like, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, black, white, whatever you're good at, and whatever you're not good at, you're not good at, you know?
Yeah, same here. I'm the one who cooks here at home.
Yeah.
Because my wife, she's not good at it.
Right.
And we're in a moment now, and with everything that's going on, I can't believe that we're still thinking as we used to think before. I mean, I'm not saying that all this pandemic is because God sent us to us because we were bad, no. But I'm sure that this is happening right now for a reason.
Yeah.
We needed like to stop and realize that there were a lot of things wrong with ourselves.
Yeah.
About how we were treating women, about our brothers,
our relationships, right? A lot of marriages,
sisters,
a lot of people are getting divorced. A lot of people are falling back in love with their wives or their husband, right?
Yeah, I mean, so I think we need to take this as a moment to learn about what we were doing wrong and just try to be better. I mean, if Broadway, for example, Broadway was lacking a lot diversity and equality, and not just diversity, equality, because it's not just about, as you say, this is not just a Latino show. I mean, we talk about all kind of subjects. I mean, let's just say, I mean, I don't want you to invite me to just Latino podcasts or just Latino shows.
Exactly,
invite me,
Or you don't want people to say, "Hey, I need you to do a Latino show for me on Broadway." You're like, "What?" Like, but
yeah. Or when they reach me to write Latino songs.
Yeah,
of course, I love to do that. And I could do any kind of music. Right now, as you can listen in the album, I'm just embracing who I am right now and trying to give that to the people and tell our own stories. Hopefully, there's gonna be a moment that we can do anything we want.
And that's what I hope for, especially artistically, right? Because that's what we crave, right? We have such a wide imagination, and we have big ideas for ourselves. But the dreamer song too. Like, I'm not a dreamer, right? I was born in America, but the lyrics of the song is talking about going for your dreams, right?
Yeah.
And being like, not only you're an immigrant in the United States, but you're like an immigrant in the arts, right? Because you're like in this world that's not traditionally for you. And for me, as being a writer, like, especially as a man, like a Latino writer, like, there's not a lot of us, and like, you feel like a foreigner in a different land. And so yeah, I mean, those songs, they're songs by an immigrant, and they're Latino, but it's all about being in a different world. And that's, you could be white and feel that way. You can feel you can be anything and feel that way. And that's the beautiful part about good art, is that you can talk about something very specific, but it applies to everybody, right?
Yeah, but that's it. That as a specific, when you are very specific, that's what makes it universal. And that's the only way. Because sometimes you try to, oh no, I'm not gonna talk about myself. I'm gonna talk about something universal. When you are trying to to be universal, you're not gonna touch to anyone. I mean, it's like
that happens with like songwriting, right? That happens with the poetry. When you first start out, I'm gonna write a song that everybody's gonna understand, and people are like, "What is this about?"
But, yeah, exactly. I think the best art is when you write from honesty. I mean, you have to be honest about
deep.
From things that you know. I mean, you need to experience that in some way. Maybe not personally, but you need to have some kind of relation with that subject that you're gonna talk about, so you can be honest about it, and so other people can relate with that.
Yeah, you have to reveal yourself in a way that scares you, right? Like, oh, what are people gonna say about me?
It's that vulnerability, right?
Right, and then people end up listening or seeing it, and they're like, oh, I can relate, and you're like, oh, wow, oh, we're all human, we're all the same thing. So, what have you been hearing about the album? I mean, what have people been saying?
Oh, but thanks God they like the album.
I mean, you do art for yourself, right? But there's also there's an audience, right? You want people to enjoy it. You want people to.
You know what? Last night we have this experience.
Live,
it was
right?
a Zoom listening party. There were like 40 people. We were just 40 people in a Zoom room, and it was live stream through YouTube as well. But what I told them last night after that experience, that it was very unique and unusual. I have never thought before that I'm gonna be listening to my music with a group of people in a virtual room, and they were like chatting as we were listening to the song. They were like putting these comments about my music and my songs, and I was just so moved that I was very extreme. And I say, if of course, as an artist, you want as many people to see your art and listen to your art. That's your goal, no? But I told them last night, if for some reason tomorrow is it's my last day, just having these people listening to my music right now was the best reward that I could have.
Wow.
Because just watching what the dynamic in that room, and so how they were getting excited about the songs, about the music, the rhythm, the subject, the lyrics, it was so fulfilled. I mean, I was feeling like
Full.
like
You did it.
that was my mission, you know. So what I say, if one of my songs could move or could save one life or touch someone's heart, just one people, I mean, that you are on the other side. I mean, that's like, wow, you
Well,
know.
yeah, Gabby Moreno singing on that one song is "Will Stay with Me," and the lyrics to "Dreamer" will stay with me. I mean, because I was like, man, this song is talking to me. You know, that's how I feel. I feel like you know, trying to find a home away from home, right? Which is,
yes,
you know, you're far from Monterrey, and your home away from home is the music world, right? Your music,
yeah,
that's your home. That's where you feel love, right?
yeah.
So tell people where they can find you and where they can find the album and all that stuff.
Yeah, also the album is available in every single digital platform.
I listen to it on Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify, iTunes, every single digital platform. You can find it as Songs by an Immigrant. And the album, the artist in the album is, of course, Jaime Lozano. And I create this group called The Familia. So The Familia is all these amazing artists who
Sounds
have
like a
joined
cartel.
me. Yeah, right. But it's not. I mean, it is a cartel of
music.
love,
Yeah,
of music, of stories. Yes, definitely. It's a good gang. It's a positive gang. Yeah.
Are you on social media at all? I mean,
I'm in social media. Yeah, you can find me just with my name, Jaime Lozano, and Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. And hopefully you can listen to the album. You can all listen to the album, and because that's why we do this to share our own stories.
Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, just wrapping up, what do you think is gonna happen with Broadway? I mean, when is it coming back? Will it ever come back the way it was?
Hopefully, it's gonna come back different. We need that. I mean, we need more diversity. We need new stories. I mean, we need Latino stories. We need African American. Oh, and this is the thing. We need Latino stories told by Latinos. We need African American stories told by African Americans, because there was a lot of like cultural appropriation before, or like Latino shows written by American people, like, you know.
And we also need American stories directed by Latinos, right?
Yeah,
that's the other side of that.
Yeah, that's the other thing as well. Of course. We need to find a way to have all those different stories, and more diversity, more Asian stories, African American, more female stories, more immigrant stories from all over the world. And that need to be, I mean, Broadway is like the biggest theater district. So if there's a place where you should have all that diversity and equality, that is Broadway.
Yeah, New York, capital of the world, you know.
You need all that mosaic of different colors, sounds, smells, you know.
Yeah, there's a saying in like literature that, there's no new stories. Everything's been said before. I think they say it in art too, right? Everything's been done before. But I think we're just getting started, because once we start really mixing together, right, a lot of interesting stuff's going to come out. So it's really, that's a theme in the show too. And during COVID times, like COVID's bad, all the people dead, rest in peace. And we need to get this guy out of the White House. But it's also a great opportunity for society, for humanity to really reassess what's important and what kind of society, what kind of human beings do we want to be, and what kind of world do we want to create for our children, our children's children,
our sons, our daughter. Yeah, I'm trying to do I only can do what I can do.
Yeah, that's another thing you have to learn, right?
Yeah,
when you're young, you're trying to do everything, hold up the whole fucking sky.
I'm trying to do my best, and to be honest, I do a lot of mistakes every single day, and once again. One day I'm racist, and another day I maybe speak wrong about women. I mean, every single day I'm learning, I'm doing mistakes, I'm trying to be better.
Yeah.
And it's my hope that the other people do the same, that they try to be better.
Well, how about in your art too? Like, because perfectionism can keep you from I went through a writer's block and I didn't know what it was. I didn't believe in writer's block before. And then I went through it and I was like, oh, this is weird. Like I was depressed. And now that I'm out of it, a year, I realized it was just perfectionism. Like I was too afraid. Yes. But now I realize like even my errors are beautiful. Even my mistakes are beautiful.
Because at the end we are humans, we are imperfect humans. So our songs, our musicals, our shows, our stories, they're gonna be imperfect stories.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have the perfect story ever.
Yeah.
And when someone call, oh, this is the perfect song, because it's full of mistakes and it's full of imperfections. I mean, the audience, the one who's listening or reading or watching something is gonna relate with something, not because the perfection, but because the imperfections.
Yeah. It's like sometimes you're listening to Pavarotti. Pavarotti had a great voice, right? But sometimes you're listening to a soul singer and their voice cracks, and that makes the song better.
That. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, so we need to embrace that. We need to embrace, and everything's about the journey. Everything is about the process. It's not, I mean, there's a moment in the journey as a painter, for example, that you have to decide whether you're gonna do your last stroke and put the signature. Oof. You can keep going and do more strokes and keep painting and adding color, but you have to decide, okay, this is gonna be the last one, and this is my signature. So when is that moment? What is the moment that you're gonna say, okay, my book, my story, my song, that's it. I could keep going,
right,
and rewriting and rewriting and rewriting, but I need to be smart enough and honest with myself and say, okay, that's it. Maybe I could make it better, but no.
You got to keep going forward.
Yeah, no, this is it. I mean, this is the right moment to stop and put the final period, you know.
I tell the story that, you know, Picasso, Da Vinci never finished the Mona Lisa. He kept going over it, and he died. Yeah. It was unfinished, and now it's the most famous painting in the world,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Know. It was a real pleasure meeting you. I mean, I'm really excited to get. I mean, this is my first introduction to you, so I want to go back and see everything you've done, and I can't wait to see what you're going to be up to, and hopefully we'll talk again. But hope your family is safe, everybody's healthy and happy, and everything's good in New York.
Same to you. Hopefully we can have another conversation soon again. I really enjoy it.
I was thinking of going to New York to visit Marlena, stay at her apartment, and maybe we'll all get together, go to a bar. If the bars are open, who knows, you know?
Yeah, hopefully soon that is going to change. Yeah, but for sure we need to go back to be in the same room together, right?
We're social animals, you know? But thank you so much. Have a good weekend. Cheers.
Thank you. You too.
Peace.